Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Daddy. My channel is Learning How to Law, and my agenda for this video, I've got a good one for you. Man, I've got a good one. So, I have been combing through all the codes and ordinances because, well, you know that I have to do our due diligence. I have to make sure that what I'm saying is in fact true. So, when I tell you, I swear, I have such a good... It's not even a story. It is 100% fact, okay? I'm going to use actual federal codes and state codes to prove to you that we have been having our rights violated over and over and over for months and months and months and months. And people are going to go and be like, oh, you're crazy. No, 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 no. No, I'm not. Absolutely not. I am 100% sane and in my right state of mind. But the agenda for the video right now, I have to show you the intro, which is the reason for the video in the first place. Right? I've been going back and forth with this guy all day. I appreciate you. I want you to know I have no ill will for you in any way, shape, or form. I quite literally am having a good time. Every time you send me something, it makes me laugh, and I go and I get a respond, right, all happy, right? Like, I'm having a good time. But some things that you said to me were very important, okay? So I'm going to show you one of the videos that I made because of something that you said. So thank you very much. I'm going to include that in just the very brief intro of this, okay? And then I'm going to immediately after that short, we're going to be discussing retaliation. So we're going to discuss this, and I've got other stuff for you here too, okay? I've got a list of federally protected activities, okay? We're going to go through this, and we're going to be going through the Colorado Springs codes and ordinances, and we're going to be going through the city of Lewiston codes and ordinances. Now, I'm also going to be pulling up the Latah County Sheriff's Department one as well, but oh man, I've got this one right here. Okay, hold on, right? Okay, let me show you the intro one second. Okay. Alright everybody, my name is Daddy, my channel is Learning How to Law, and all morning, this guy has been bugging me, right? So he's gonna blame me, or just trying to get mad at me for my ridiculously curly hair, my gorgeous hair, right? My full mane of hair, my extremely thick beard, right? Like, no, My wife loves this, right? This is a sign of my virility, right? All the testosterone flowing in my body. Like, I literally grow hair and nails 2 to 3 times faster than anyone else, like, I've ever known. Like, I am virile as right? Now, that's okay, because, again, you smell of bad bacon, right? I thought that maybe you might be one of the bad cops, a Brady cop, right? But when you go and you go down a little bit, you're gonna try and poke more fun at me, right? Talking about everyone's got an opinion. Opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one, right? Like, that's okay, right? You're entitled to your opinion, and that's why I'm not removing anything that you say. However, something that you stated right here: I believe in God's laws and nothing else. Oof, that's beautiful. I love that. I want to share something with you because yesterday's video. Remember how we were talking about? A citation itself is not a crime. The only time that you actually get in trouble is, see, it says it's not a criminal conviction. A conviction only occurs if you admit guilt, pay the fine, or are found guilty in court. Well, this is why we record all of our interactions with public authorities, no matter what, because that's our First Amendment guaranteed right. However, you want to talk about God-given rights? Let me show you something that's going to protect you, because once you invoke all of your rights, right, like, so very specifically, your right to an attorney is one of them. You're not allowed to ask me any questions or have me sign any papers until I have my attorney present. You can now back that up with with my religious beliefs. Now, I would never try and force my beliefs on others. I'm not going to ask you what your beliefs are. However, if you believe in Christianity, the Bible, and certain Judaic religions, this will come in handy, okay? So, are you familiar with the Sermon on the Mount, right? It's Matthew and, one second.
In Matthew chapter 5, verses 34 to 37, that you should not swear oaths at all. He says to simply let your yes be yes and your no be no, because anything beyond that comes from evil. He explains that swearing by heaven, earth, or even your own head is invalid.
Yep, that's right. So again, never, ever, ever swear an oath, and that's what the signature is at the bottom of a thing. It's you're signing an oath.
Calls for honesty and integrity in speech. It urges people to keep their word, avoiding casual oaths. Instead, Simply saying yes or no should be enough, as relying on oaths can lead to judgment.
I know this is something you're going to want to argue about, so that's okay. We'll do that in a video. Thank you for watching my short. Have a good day. Again, I told you I would be talking about retaliation because of what you stated, the stuff that you had said to me, right? While I was pulling up the relevant information for you, because again, I'm not going to go and ever go and be like, oh, it says this, blah, 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 blah. It says 1, 2, 3, 4, when in reality it says 5, 6, 7, 8, right? Like, I am not going to lie to you and misinform you because that's not fair to you, and I could get in trouble for that, right? So anytime that I pull something, it's going to be strictly from actual code, okay? Code that police officers are required to follow. That's literally what, like, right? Like, okay? So, we are all guaranteed our universal human rights. Those are what protects us wherever we are in the world, okay? If you live in the United States, but you travel to Ireland, if you live in the United States, but you travel to Africa, if you live in the United States and you want to travel to Hawaii before you travel to, I don't know, Japan, okay? Just keep going, right? And, right? I'm trying to think. Another example. But anyways, right? Like, no matter where you are in the world, okay? Right? If you are in Mexico, right? You don't even have to be in the United States. If you are in Mexico and you want to travel to Canada, if you want to travel to Thailand, if you want to travel to England, right? You don't even have to be in the United States. You are protected by universal human rights, okay? One sec. List of 30 universal human rights. Okay. Here we go. This is the one that I have saved on my computer. It's the one that I've been showing to you in all the videos. It's you saw the link. You can go find it. Okay. As it states right here, December 10th, 1948. The 10th of December, 1948 is when all of these 30 human rights were guaranteed to us. Right. What does it say down at the very bottom? These human rights cannot be taken away. Okay. Freedom around the world. Okay, it does not matter where you are in the world. These 30 universal human rights protect you. Okay, you have the right, all human beings are free and equal. No discrimination, the right to life, no slavery, no torture and inhuman treatment, same right to use law, equal before the law, which is different than the one I just read, a right to be treated fair by court, no unfair detainment, the right to trial, innocent until proven guilty, the right to privacy, freedom to movement and residence, the right to asylum, the right to nationality, rights to marry and have family, right to own things, freedom of thought and religion, freedom of opinion and expression, the right to assemble, the right to democracy, the right to Social Security, the right to work, the right to rest and holiday, the right of social service, the right to education, the right of culture and art, basically, right? Freedom around the world, subject to law, human rights can't be taken away. All 30 of these are guaranteed to you no matter where you are in the world. Then you have to, right? I live in the United States. You might live in Mexico. You might live in the United Kingdom. The United States has a constitution that we follow. Mexico has its own separate constitution similar to what we have, but it's different. The UK also has a constitution, right? Like, no matter where you are in the world, that area, that location will have rules that you have to follow, okay? This is basically like, if you were to step foot in this house, the owner of this house has rules. You cannot if you cannot abide by the rules, if you want to break the rules, then you can go stay somewhere else. Okay, that's very simple, right? If you are renting, your homeowner has a rental agreement. Those are the rules of the house. If it states that you cannot smoke anywhere in the house, you have to go outside, then guess what? That's the rule of the house. You cannot invite friends over, and those friends cannot start smoking in the house because, oh, I have my rights. I can do whatever I want. Right to life, liberty. No, you guys agreed when right? This house does not belong to you. You're renting it, right? The agreement is you honor the rules, you pay the money, and you don't cause any hassle, or you get out, right? That's how that works. I know that COVID kind of threw that into a state of frenzy, but very basically, homeowners have rates just like us renters. We have rates. Squatters supposedly have rates, but in reality, they're trespassing and they're breaking and entering, and you don't have rates if you're breaking the law. So a lot of people kind of forgot that over COVID, right? Let's get back to this, okay? Like, you have 30 universal human rights guaranteed to no matter where you are in the world. If you live here in the United States, you have to follow the U.S. Constitution. Very specifically, Article 6 of the Constitution is the Supremacy Clause, right? Let's go see what that is real quick. Hold on. Article 6 of the Constitution, what is it? Establishes the Constitution as the supreme law of the land, ensures that U.S. honors debts incurred under the previous government, and prohibits religious tests for public office. It includes the Supremacy Clause. That's specifically what I wanted, okay? The Supremacy Clause establishes federal law as the supreme law of the land, meaning it overrides any conflicting state or local laws. Again, if you want to be a police officer in the United States, you have to swear to universal I'm sorry, not universal, universal code, yeah, which is federal law. I'm sorry, yeah. My brain was like universal code, blah blah blah. No, it's universal code, which is federal law. If you are in Idaho, you have Idaho code. If you live in Colorado, you have CRS, which are the Colorado revised statutes. If you live in Washington, it's, I think, WCS, or it's three letters. I forget what it is. Okay, I apologize. I'm a little tired right now. Okay, but I apologize. This is going to be a lengthy video, but there's a lot we got to discuss. I have a lot of examples for you, okay? But again, we are protected by federal law no matter where we are in the United States, and that's for equality. It's very basically, if there were no rules in the state of Idaho, but there's 100 rules in Colorado, we have to come to some form of middle ground, okay? Because no rules is excessive, and 100 rules when there should be maybe 2 or 3 is excessive, right? Like, does that make sense? Okay, so if we come and to the same set of rules for everybody gets to play fair. That means that if you travel from your state to your next door neighbor state, right, you're gonna be protected by the same rules, right? You do not have to worry. As long as you know the law in your state, you're gonna be covered in the next state and the next state and the next state, right? Does that make sense? Again, equality under the law. That is what we're going for right here. That's what the Supremacy Clause states. No law above federal law. Now, one of the reasons that I bring this up is very important because, and I'm going to show you this at the end of the video, but the city of Lewiston, and by default the entire state of Idaho, because they fall under the same municipal court, and they have all the same court proceedings and hearings and documents. Everything in the system is the exact same thing. It doesn't matter if you live in Lewiston, Idaho, if you live in Latah County, Idaho, right? Like, they are all the same under the law, okay? Their police officers are going to follow the same set of rules. So when I tell you, again, in every other one of my videos, that for an officer of the law to have 3 things, they need 3 things to be an officer, right? And the first is a delegation of authority. So basically, this person or this figure or this business stated that I can become a police officer on this date, so-and-so signed me into office, right? In the city of Lewiston, what I'm going to show you is the chief of police is in charge of all of that. So the chief of police, if you want to be a police officer, he has to sign off on your delegation of authority, on your oath of office, and on your bonding information, all of that before you can legally become a police officer. And then you have to meet all the minimum requirements in order to become an officer, and right? Okay. But again, I'm going to show that to you here in just a bit. Okay. 1 second. Okay. So what I need to show you now is I need to explain retaliation, and it's got 3 parts to it, and I'm going to explain. Let me pull that. Okay, here we go. Okay, so go to Cornell Law School, right? Legal Information Institute. It's free of charge. You can use Justeel Law if you want. You can use the I forget, the Law Institute, I think is what it is. But again, this is free. This is what I'm using just for all intents and purposes. So we're looking up 42 U.S. Code subsection 12203, which is prohibition against retaliation and coercion. Okay, what does that mean? This federal code protects us, you, me, my wife, my child, my daughter, my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, my father-in-law, right? My brothers, okay? My cousins, right? They protect all of your family just like they protect mine, okay? Everybody, okay? We are allowed our individual rights and freedoms. They are guaranteed to us, again, no matter where you are in the world. And then to follow that up, we here in the United States, we have federal law. And then to back that up, we have additional state laws. But again, remember, Article 6, Supremacy Clause states you cannot make a rule that goes against federal law. That's 100%. That needs to be 100%. That's what you need to remember. Now, retaliation. No person shall discriminate against any individual because such individual has opposed any act or practice made unlawful by this chapter, or because such individual made a charge, testified, assisted, or participated in any manner in an investigation, proceeding, or hearing under this chapter. What does that mean? The first part, no person shall discriminate against any individual because such individual has opposed any act or practice made unlawful by this chapter, or because such individual, right? That long part states very specifically if it's illegal and a cop tries to arrest me for it, right? If I have proof I didn't do it, well, I have proof that I didn't do it. You cannot go and discriminate against me for exercising my rights. Okay, if I have a video recording that proves that, hey, I was going, just like my example last night, I was going 29 in the 30, you stated that I was going 45, you tried to lie to the judge, right? I am exercising my rights. That's a First Amendment right to record in public. That's a First Amendment right to record officials in public on top of that, right? Like, do you see where I'm going with this? If an officer wants to retaliate against me for any reason, they get in trouble. If I'm recording and an officer goes and smacks the camera out of my hand because they're trying to stop the recording, that there are specific court cases that protect against that. It's a North Carolina Supreme Court case specifically, though, that states that any act of interference that where you try and stop the recording is an automatic denial of our expression of rights. So just so we are clear, I will pull that for you. Let me show you real quick. All right, it's in my folder, Laws to Keep Us Safe. Coates Canons, North Carolina Local Government Law. It was a landmark 2010 Citizens United versus Federal Election Commission, right? They stated very specifically, if a law restricts filming itself, one could argue that such a law restricts a medium of expression, the use of a common instrument of communication, and thus an integral step in the speech process. In other words, by prohibiting someone from filming, the government is arguably prohibiting future speech by suppressing it at the first point in the speech process. Okay? So again, you need to know your rights, because there's a lot of people who would just allow an officer to knock the thing out of their hand, break their phone, right? Deny them rights, and they're just going to be okay with it, right? Just like that's what I've been arguing about with the guy that caused the whole this video in the first place, right? He would rather roll over and let officers deny him his rights than stand up for himself, right? Like, no, absolutely not. So when good men see evil and do nothing, that is, yes, thank you, babe. That is hashtag corruption. Thank you. Mwah, I love you, baby. Yeah. Oh, perfect timing. That's literal divine intervention right there, saying yes, corruption. Let's get back to the other, right? So B. Oh, but again, right here. For Colorado Springs Police, right here, See how it says made a charge, testified, assisted, or participated in any manner in an investigation, proceeding, or hearing under this chapter? You specifically, Colorado Springs Police Department, you want to treat us as a joke. You want to deny us our rights. You want to hang up on us 4 times and not even take the call in the first place? Like, see, that's what allows you to get in trouble because you retaliated against us, right? You didn't like how I was speaking. I cited to an actual Supreme Court case that protected me. You didn't like the fact that I would not allow you to interrupt me and you tried to take control of the phone call. No, no, no. I am not allowed to be interrupted, right? I gave you a Supreme Court case to state that, hey, Houston versus Hill, right? States very specifically that we can interrupt you, but you cannot interrupt us. Okay, because you are denying us our right to expression. See how I cite relevant codes for you, and you guys want to break the law when you deny us the rights that I'm informing you of. See, that's a form of retaliation. Every time you deny us a right, that's a separate act of retaliation. Now, let's discuss what interference, coercion, and intimidation covers. Because again, Idaho police, you're guilty of this. Colorado Springs police, you're guilty of this. It shall be unlawful to coerce, intimidate, threaten, or interfere with any individual in the exercise or enjoyment of. That means if you, a public official, come across me and you start asking me questions, I will invoke all my rights and you have to then play accordingly, okay? If you want to deny me my rights, then you get in trouble, civilly and criminally, okay? See, now the next part, or on account of his or her having exercised or enjoyed. That means if I had to exercise my rights 3 weeks ago when I tried to call in and speak to the police. See, that's a federally protected activity. That's one of those 30 universal human rights where we have the same right before law, equality before the law, like, right? Like all those things that I read to you. There's at least 4 different things, just equality of the law that you violated. So your officers get in trouble for that because, again, when I have the legal right to reach out to you for help and have my crimes addressed that are happening to me and my family, right? Like, you, law enforcement, the people who take our taxpayer money and collect pecuniary benefits, right? Salary, paycheck, 401k, savings, right? Retirement, school benefits, tax credits, right? All that stuff that I discussed in the previous video. Yeah, we pay for that. Now let's go back down here. Now, the third part of this, it says, or on account of his or her having aided or encouraged any other individual in the exercise or enjoyment of. Right? So what does that mean? That means you people here in Lewiston, Idaho. So when my wife has her driver's license stolen from her and all the information taken and copied down, criminally converted, right, into the property of somebody else, and you police officers don't want to do anything about it, well, you've just violated our rights. See, when you want to try and bully us and tell us that you're going to threaten me specifically with arrest for exercising my federally protected rights, my constitutionally protected rights, my universally protected rights, you have just intimidated, coerced, and interfered on multiple levels. Okay? The store specifically, when I caught what you were doing and I told you to stop, that you were stealing my wife's information, bad shame on you. I pointed out that you're not doing it to any of the other 100 people standing in line in the other lines, that you're only doing it to us, right? Like, I made it very clear that you cannot have the information, that you need to destroy the document or you need to give it to us or, right, delete it from your system. You denied me all those rights. See, that's me being protected right here. It says specifically, you people here in that corporate business and you people in Idaho, the bad police and the bad attorney, the ones who I know are watching this, right? Shame on you. This is what's going to allow me to send you to prison, though. And this is what's going to allow me to make it to where you are no longer an attorney in your state and you're no longer a police officer in your state. I will personally attach myself to your bonding information and my family will attach themselves to your bonding information. You will not be able to work as a police officer or attorney or paralegal or anything else, any of the other people that violated our rights. Chief of police, lieutenants, all the captains, all the sergeants, all the lower ranked people that violated our rights, okay? You all get in trouble. The state of Idaho specifically, I'm about to show you, you collect taxpayer money, federal money, and you pay state police, and you allow state police to violate our rights, okay? Before we get any further, let me show you something real quick, right? Now remember how I told you, you need 3 things to be a police officer, you need a delegation of authority, an oath of office, and bonding information. Delegation is who told me I can be a police officer and in what capacity, or attorney or paralegal or whatever, as long as I work for the state or city, right? That's what the delegation of authority states. This is your job. This is your title. This is how much you'll get paid. This is the person that allowed you to do the job. Okay. Oath of office. Anybody who becomes a public servant, a public official, you legally have to swear an oath to federal law. Why? Because of the supremacy clause. You cannot go and make a law that is going to violate federal law. That is why you have to swear an oath. You are legally bound. You are legally required to swear an oath to federal law. Failure to do so means you have perjured your oath, which means that is a whole different set of federal crimes. That's a whole different set of jail time, right? So I can prove right here, right now, that the city of Lewiston does not. Let's see. Where is that oath? Where is that oath? I scrolled up. Oh, I was so mad as I was reading this. Oh, man. Oh, declaration of appointment. So this right here, see how the following shall be the form of declaration of appointment as a special police officer. But see right here specifically how down at the bottom, after you sign and date it, the chief of police has to sign it into being. And it's based off of this city ordinance right here. Okay? Ordinance number 3645 subsection 4, and then lines 5 through 24, or 5-24-82. Okay? And then the oath of office right here. This is what makes me so mad. The following oath of office shall be administered and subscribed to by the appointee. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution and laws of the state of Idaho and the ordinances of the city of Lewiston, that I will faithfully discharge the duties of special police officer under the supervision of the chief of police and his, or his representative, within the corporate limits of the city of Lewiston, state of Idaho, according to the best of my ability. So help me God. Sign, subscribed and sworn to before me this date, and then sign again. Notary public in and for the state of Idaho, residing at Lewiston therein. Right, so do you see how it does not state anywhere in there you have to follow federal code? Let me show you real quick. Federal oath of office. Let's see, where's the actual... I have it pulled up on my computer. I just don't remember... Let's see, hold on. Is this it? opm.gov. I don't think this is... Hold on one sec. Let me find it for you. There we go. All right. So it's 5 U.S. Code subsection 3331 oath of office. It is very specific. This is 100% what you have to have in your oath. Okay. And I will show you the difference because I just showed you how Lewiston doesn't have this. Colorado Springs does have this. So in this, it states an individual except the president elected or appointed to an office of honor or profit in the civil service or uniformed services shall take the following oath. I, you insert your name, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States. See that right there? It has to say the Constitution of the United States. Anything else is perjury. Anything else is a violation of federal code. Anything else, and you have sworn an oath to a foreign corporation who is not the United States. That literally could be viewed as an act of treason, right? So, let me finish this and I will describe that for you. 1 second, I'm sorry. So, I, insert name, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter. So help me God. This section does not affect other oaths required by law. So again, you have to swear an oath to the United States Constitution. That is literally federal law. That is the supremacy clause. If you don't believe Cornell Legal Law Institute. Let me just pull up Google because that's what 95% of you are going to use. All of you who are not attorneys, look. Okay. Is it legal for the city of Lewiston to disregard federal law? No, it is not legal for the city of Lewiston to disregard federal law. Under the Supremacy Clause of the United States Constitution, Article 6, federal laws are the supreme law of the land, and judges in every state are bound by them, regardless of what state or local law may say. This legal principle was affirmed by the Supreme Court in Cooper v. Aaron, 1958, which rejected the idea that states could nullify federal law. So, all of my dozens of phone calls and conversations with the big business who violated our rights, again, when you state that we do not have to follow federal law, that we can make up whatever rule we want and we don't have to listen to you, federal code, federal law, federal judges, federal this, federal that. No. When you police officers go and state that that sounds like a federal crime, we don't do those here. What? What are you talking about? No, we only follow Idaho code here, right? Like, bro, are you serious? No. Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, we're basically stuck in here in the 80s, right? 80s, early 90s. Nobody followed blah, 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 right? Like, I have all of this recorded. You're all going to see, right? When police officers can joke about, oh, that sounds like a federal crime. Oh, that sounds like a federal crime. Maybe you should call the FBI. Oh, it sounds like you have a 1983 lawsuit against me. Ha, ha, ha. We don't have to follow that here because we follow Idaho code, right? Like, no, no, no. That is dangerous. You literally are an armed child and you are allowed to police others. Like, no, 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 no. No. What happens? Violating federal law is illegal. A city or its officials cannot pass or enact ordinances that directly violate federal law. For example, a state or city cannot pass a law that legalizes marijuana and expect it to override the Federal Controlled Substances Act. That's why people living in Colorado, people living in any of the legalized states, right? Any California, Florida, right? Like, you name it, wherever weed is legal, just remember it is still technically, for the present moment, a controlled substance, and you could still technically be prosecuted according to the law. However, there's plenty of loopholes in the system now that could potentially get you off. I'm never going to assure you of anything, because you might wake up one day thinking you have a slam dunk case, I'm going to win no matter what, and you woke up to face a judge who his wife just found out his wife cheated on him with a guy that looks exactly like you, or right, got cheated on by a girl that looks exactly like you, right? Like, and oh, sucks to suck for you. You are about to catch every last ounce of hate that this person has collected over the entirety of their existence, right? Sorry. That has happened before. I have been there and seen it happen to others. Thank God. Oh, I gotta knock on wood to make sure it doesn't happen to me, right? Like, thank God it has not happened to me, and it will never happen to me, because, no, we don't violate the law. We uphold the law. That's what we do. Okay? So let me get back to the retaliation. I gotta finish reading that real quick. All right, but again, you cannot coerce, intimidate, threaten, or interfere with any individual in the exercise or enjoyment of our guaranteed protected rights or freedoms. Okay? You cannot. And then remedies under these sections, these are the penalties, right? So, again, criminal penalties, civil penalties. Now, let's go talk about, I'm sorry, that was a very, very long explanation. Let's go talk about this one right here, the list of federally protected rights. So, when I'm going to use the Colorado Springs Police real quick, since we oh, I got to show you their oath real quick, right? Oath of office. Right here. See how theirs specifically states to support the Constitution of the United States right here, right? It says, upon issuance of a state of Colorado post certification, each officer of the police department shall take an oath to support the Constitution of the United States. See how that is first and foremost? That's the Supremacy Clause in action. You cannot make a law at the state or municipal level that will violate federal law. You have to follow your oath. You have to follow federal law. That's why Colorado Springs Police Department, you get in trouble because every single one of you has retaliated against our rights at the very bare minimum because you were ignorant of the law. You do not understand the law, and you are allowed to collect benefits right, from us taxpayers. That's what annoys me. What annoys me even more is the fact that, like I just showed you, the city of Lewiston pretends that they don't even have to follow federal law. So all of those made-up federal rules, pfft, oh no, get out of here with that bullshit. We don't have to follow that here now. Woo! No, it's just a bunch of good old country boys who like to drink and drive over here and violate each other just in every way that you can think of, right? Like, yep, I say that. I'm not saying anything against the state of Idaho, aside from the fact that you people are allowing this bad behavior to happen. So shame on you. Again, when good people will sit back and watch bad things happen, shame on you. How dare you? When I come here from vacation and I catch something and I try and inform you people and you people want to get mad at me, no, shame on you. How dare you? So let's see. Yeah. So again, let me show you real quick. List of federally protected activities, specifically B, subsection B. So let's scroll down. Whoever, whether or not acting under color of law by force or threat of force, willfully injures, intimidates, or interferes with, or attempts to injure, intimidate, or interfere with. So, anyone acting under authority. That means HOA, they are a group of people who buy a certain area and then they rent or sell the properties within their area, and then they act as a governing authority for that limited space, stating you have to pay us fees, and if you do anything bad or anything wrong, we get to charge you more fees, okay? If you don't want those fees, well, you can live somewhere else. But these are blah, blah, right? Like, they'll church it up, they'll dress it up. These are very nice. You come live here, right? And you give up some of your rights, if not all of your rights, because we will violate them, okay? The police department, they are a governing authority, right? Like, they are a governing body, right? They are a group of people who have gotten together and stated that, hey, we are going to make up these rules and regulations, and if you break the rules and regulations we create, you have to pay us fines and fees, right? That's why a traffic violation, like a speeding ticket, is a civil infraction, right? It's not a crime. There's no crime committed. It's a citation, right? Go watch the other video I made last night. Thank you for the people who have watched it so far. Okay, let's see. So, whether or not acting under color of law by force or threat of force willfully injures. So again, I do not have to physically touch you. If I make a threat stating I'm going to do this to you if you don't do this, or do this or else, right? Any issuance of a threat, okay, is protected right here, okay? So when the HOA states, I love your truck, I want it, give it to me by such and such date, or else, right? Or else I will charge a fine, or I will repossess it, right? That's a crime. When the police are legally bound to uphold the law and they want to retaliate against us for whatever reason, right? They get in trouble for that, see? You are not allowed to intimidate or interfere with, or attempt to injure, intimidate, or interfere with us. Okay, number one, any person because he or has been, or in order to intimidate such person or any other person, or, okay. Very basically, you cannot violate our rights, okay? The federal list is B, section 2. Let's scroll down to section 2. Okay, now it states that you cannot violate our rights. Any person because of his race, color, religion, or national origin, and because he or she has been, right? So you can't discriminate against race, against our color, against our religion, our national origin, or if we are enrolling or attending any public school or public college. Remember how I told you the HOA is violating the rights of a college kid? That's my sister-in-law. See? B, participating in or enjoying any benefit, service, privilege, program, facility, or activity provided or administered by any state or subdivision thereof. So again, when I come to you, law enforcement, with valid criminal codes, and you do not want to uphold the law, you want to try and play like your attorneys, and you want to violate our rights because you were improperly reading those codes and you were purposefully and maliciously denying us our rights. See, you just violated B because we have all those legal rights. The 30 universal rights covers that right there. C. Applying for or enjoying employment or any prerequisite thereof by any private employer or any agency of any state. Right. This one specifically covers. I'm protected because of DoorDash, and DoorDash, they illegally submitted my driver's license not once but twice to a third party agency. So they falsified government documents. Right. Like I'm chilling. I ain't even worried about it because. Right? Abracadabra. I speak things into existence. I'm about to get paid. My family will be good for perpetuity. Right? Like, ooh, thank you, God. Now, let's see. D. Serving or attending upon any court of any state in connection with possible service as a grand or petite juror, right? Does not apply in this instance. E. Traveling in or using any facility or of interstate commerce or using any vehicle, terminal, or facility of any common carrier by motor, rail, water, or air. You could technically go and state that because this is a post office kind of deal, the corporate business that has the address listed to them, that is technically a port, and I was trying to use that port, and I was denied access to the port. That is the right of ingress and egress, which is the right to enter and exit a building. It was denied to me by multiple people on multiple days, and not only in verbal expression, but also in letter after the fact. So again, thank you for just violating our rights over and over and over. Ooh, I love it. Oh, my attorney's gonna love it too. F, because imagine, you people that are supposed to uphold the law, you literally tell me, no, go away. We don't have to follow federal law. And right? Like, imagine how my attorney is gonna feel listening to this. F. Enjoying the goods. This is the nice one. Enjoying the goods, services, facilities, privileges, advantages, or accommodations of any inn, hotel, motel, or other establishment which provides lodging to transient guests, or of any restaurant, cafeteria, lunchroom, lunch counter, soda fountain, or other facility which serves the public, and which is principally engaged in selling food or beverages for consumption on the premises, or of any gasoline station, or of any motion picture house, theater, concert hall, sports arena, stadium, or any other place of exhibition or entertainment which serves the public, or of any other establishment which serves the public, and I, which is located within the premises of any aforesaid establishments, or within the premises of which is physically located any of the aforesaid establishments, and 2, which holds itself out as serving patrons of such establishments. That means very specifically, big business is included in that. That means we, big business, need your money to stay afloat. We will allow you to walk into our doors and purchase whatever you want off the shelf, as long as you give us fair compensation for it. If you want this, if you want this bluey, this little bluey icon, right? If it's marked for $3 and you try and give us $1, we're not going to give it to you because we want $3 for it. That's what we think is fair compensation for that item. That's how that works. See, you are open to the public. Your attorney, I'll show you that call in a later video. I got to edit it some, remove the faces and logos. You'll see that tomorrow though. I have 3 very specific calls for you. One is with the corporate attorney who states that it's a public lobby and you have full rights to be in there, and he doesn't deny us any rights whatsoever, because the 2 other people that you're going to hear, the lady manager, her name starts with M. She goes and denies us our right to record, which I already showed you was a violation of a Supreme Court case, North Carolina case, and then she trespasses us illegally for a federally protected activity, for being a patron of her store, for recording in public, which is a First Amendment protected right. So again, among other things, because again, they stole my wife's identity, and our privacy data rights allow us to be able to delete the stuff that they stole. So again, there's like 30 different felonies that they committed. I got plenty of videos for you. But again, let's see. Let's go down. No, that's during a riot. That doesn't apply to us. Any person, because he or has been, or in order to intimidate such person or any other person. Yeah, see, so again, you're not allowed to discriminate on account of race, color, religion, or national origin in any of the benefits or activities described in the paragraphs that I listed above, or affording another person another person or class of persons opportunity or protection so participate, right? See, again, you are not allowed to. Oh, this is where it says how much you'll be fined. You shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 1 year or both. So again, you're going to jail for at least a year. And if bodily injury results from the acts committed in violation, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Yeah, see, so again, like, we are federally protected. When we're a patron of your store, we are federally protected. We have the universal human right to reach out to you people when crimes have been committed. You are legally bound to uphold the law. You can't go and say, no, sorry, we're Idaho. We don't have to follow any form of federal law. And I see you brought us a whole bunch of state codes, but get out of my building because I'm an officer in the state of Idaho and I can do whatever I want. I don't have to protect your universal human rights. I don't have to protect your federal rights. And because I don't like you, I don't even have to protect your state rights. Right? I'm going to collect all of these benefits, right? Because does the state of Idaho receive taxpayer federal funding, right? Yes, billions of dollars in federal funding, right? This is just some of the federal funding that police officers get specifically. Okay? Justice Assistant Grant, Cops Hiring Program, Services Training Officers and Prosecutors, the STOP Grant, Highway Safety and Traffic Programs, Payments in lieu of taxes, Emergency Management and Homeland Security grants, like all of this, the billions of dollars in funding, that's billions of dollars that we have to pay for in our taxes. And then these jerks are going to go and create citation after citation after citation so that way they can illegally steal from you. Because again, they know that you don't know your rights. They know that you don't care enough to know. They know that you don't care enough about yourself, your money, or your family to where you can just look up a couple quick laws, write them down on a piece of paper so that way should something happen, you could be like, oh, blah, blah, blah. They're legally bound by law to follow the laws that they write. They are agents of the municipal court. These are all municipal codes. They have to follow their codes. Failure to do so means that, well, they lose their job, they pay a ton of money, and they go to prison. There is no other remedy. Oh, now, if there's escalations to that, right? Like, let's say that if I were to end up for any reason, right? Then it's treason. They also go, right? See, so there are extreme cases, but barring any kind of extreme physical contact, that's basically where it's going to stay. But I'm going to stop this for now. I proved to you everything that we're doing is federally protected. When I was in the store, the corporate business violated our rights. We had a receipt in our hand. We had the legal right to ask the questions that we were asking. It states in their policies, right? The hour-and-a-half privacy policy that I read for you, it states multiple times that you need to be aware of this. There's multiple documents you need to be aware of. These are your 10 privacy choices that you need to be aware of, right? The photography policy states we will exploit you. We will steal from you. We will sell your image or this or that for perpetuity now and in perpetuity. We will make as much money off of you as we can. Right? You do have rights, but please refer to the privacy policy in terms of use, right? And then terms of use. It states verbatim, just in the first paragraph, that there are 6 or 7 different legal documents that you have to read because we are going to hold you legally to them without question. Right? So again, when we have the legal rights, I say that loosely because these people are denying us those rights. See, like, they get in trouble for that. So it might not be now, it might be a little delayed, but they're going to pay a lot of money and they're going to pay a lot of jail time. The cashiers that did it, the supervisor that did it, the manager that did it, the HR people that did it, the corporate attorneys that did it, every single officer of the law that did it in Idaho, the rookie dude, the 2-year agent, the sergeant who supervises him and has been a training sergeant for 9 years, right? His captain, right? The chief of police, the city mayor in Lewiston, who's the general of the city, according to Idaho codes of ordinances, right? Yep, everything happens because the mayor says so. Nothing happens without his authority, right? The state of Idaho voluntarily allows their officers and public officials and public authorities to violate the rights of us, right? Murdoch versus Pennsylvania, you cannot charge fees. You guys are going to charge for FOIA requests after you've already taken my taxpayer money to sit there in the building to do nothing. You're going to charge us several hundreds, if not thousands of dollars just to access the information, and you're going to give us redacted forms of it because Idaho code states that you can. Forget federal code, but Idaho code says that not only can we charge you, but I don't even have to give you the exculpatory evidence that you want. For those of you wondering, exculpatory evidence is highly incriminating evidence. That body cam that shows my officer violating your rights, telling you, threatening you that he's going to handcuff you and drag you out of the building, right? Like that's a violation of your rights. You can't have that. Sorry, that's exculpatory evidence, right? All of those officers, every single time that they said we don't have to follow federal law, that's obstruction of justice. See, I can't give you those chest cams because that's exculpatory evidence. That's going to make my people look bad, right? As the city attorney is the one who handles all FOIA requests. There's no one else besides her, right? So when she goes and she denies the FOIA request for this reason or that reason, it's her being corrupt. It's not an outside party. It's her being corrupt. Colorado Springs has internal affairs. Their internal affairs people are highly incompetent, right? They have not looked at any of the information that I've given them, all the videos that I've been making. I send it to internal affairs before I send it to you people on YouTube. And they don't want to look at any of the stuff. They want to violate our rights. They are going to find out after the fact about retaliation, but you know what? They should have known anyways because it's a federal law that they swore to. Right? Lewiston ain't gonna know about it. Lewiston, it's gonna be like a freaking like a bus hit them. They're gonna be completely blindsided because again, they don't know anything about federal law. So why would they look up a federal code? The 30 different crimes that I gave them, it had federal code, it had Colorado code, it had Idaho code. They're not gonna be bothered to look at any of the stuff. They're just gonna deny our rights. So again, know your rights, everybody. Stand up for your rights because others will voluntarily and maliciously deny you your rights. When an officer of the law gets money for writing you a ticket, right, he is going to write as many tickets as he can. It doesn't matter. If he can get it in before a judge and you have zero evidence, that means those 10 tickets stand. If you provide evidence that and it gets half of the tickets taken off, but the other half, the judge is like, you know what, I'm still going to let it stand. That means that you still have to pay all that money. If you are lucky enough to where you can get all of the evidence removed, thank God. However, you now have an officer who voluntarily and maliciously lied under oath and tried to steal your money, right? He said that you flicked a cigarette out the window, a lit cigarette. In the state of Colorado, that's a $1,000 fine. Can you afford $1,000 right now? I know like maybe a handful of people who could afford a $1,000 bill right now, right? I know a handful of people who can't even afford a $50 bill right now, right? I know a handful of people who couldn't even afford a $5 bill right now. So again, know your rights, people, because others will deny you your rights. I'm sorry this has gone so long, but again, I am mad. You need to understand that I'm mad. The city of Lewiston, the state of Idaho, does not have to follow federal law according to them and what they believe. Do you understand how many people live in the state of Idaho? Right. How many people live in the state of Idaho in the year 2025?
In 2025, Idaho's population is estimated to be around 2,035,708. The state has one of the highest population growth rates, with most of the growth coming from people moving into the state.
Right? So, on average, how many people reach out to the police department in Idaho every year? Hundreds of thousands of calls for service each year. Do you see that right there? And because they don't have to follow federal law, every single one of these people, it does not matter if they took 100 calls and they helped 100 people to satisfaction, they still denied 100 people their federally protected rights. Do you understand that? They did not even take into account any of the federally protected rights. That's what makes me so upset. Hundreds of thousands of people every single year have their rights denied to them involuntarily. They don't even understand that it's happening because just like me, I thought that the Supremacy Clause protects us no matter where we go in the world. I thought that the Article 4, Section 2, Clause 1 of the Constitution, the Immunities and Privileges Clause, stated that no matter where I am in the United States, Colorado law protects me because I'm from Colorado. That's the Constitution that I follow after federal law, right? And should I travel, Colorado law protects me no matter where I go. And I get your state constitution as well to back me up because, again, that's what Article 4, Section 2, Clause 1 specifically states. We are protected no matter where we travel. If I travel to a different state, I am to be treated as a citizen of that state and not an unfriendly alien. You are not allowed to treat me any different than you would your kid who was born in that state, who's grown up in that state, right? You can't treat me any different. You have to basically treat me as a member of the family. Thank you, federal code. Thank you, federal law. And thank you for everyone who's made it this far because, again, I am so sorry, but this is an issue. This is a very serious issue, right? Ashley, I apologize to your brother-in-law for this hour-long rant. I'm sorry, but you guys need to understand that every single thing that I did was according to the law. When we were just minding our own business and I asked the big business, the corporation, to stop violating us and our rights and stop violating federal law, right? That's me. We were not looking for trouble. It found us, and I will not back down. Like, I will fully stand up for our rights. Like, no, you will not violate my wife. You will not violate my daughter. Absolutely not. No one will do that. I will very adamantly defend both of them. If you don't like it, well, stop doing what you're doing. So I am going to come at you with the full application of federal law and then full application of Colorado law and then full application of Idaho law because, again, that is the order. Now, the nice thing is, because we're in Idaho and that's where crimes are committed, and I technically now have an Idaho driver's license because it's been such a long time, you guys, that's a whole different story. That's a really nice video for the DMV I got for you guys. They are incompetent. But again, state of Idaho, state officials in Idaho violated our rights. The hour-and-a-half call that I have with the captain, Matt, of the Latah County Sheriff's Office, he's laughing and joking after the first 40 minutes of him yelling, because the first 40 minutes he's going to yell and try and violate our rights. And again, I'm going to stand for those rights. After the 40 minutes, he's apologizing and he's laughing as he's violating our rights because, you know, he understands that Idaho doesn't have to follow federal law. And you guys are stupid, but you actually have valid points. Maybe you should file a complaint. It's like, sir, that's what I'm literally trying to do right now. Like, that's why I stated I needed to file a complaint and press charges. Like, but again, you people in Idaho are allowing this bad behavior to happen and have done so, because that's what I don't understand is your paralegals and attorneys, you have to swear to that. You have to tell your family and friends about that. You have to be excited. Like, oh my God, I got accepted to law school. Oh my God, I got accepted to this blah, blah, blah. I got accepted to this law firm. Yeah, woo! Right? Like, oh my God, I just graduated from 4, 6, 8 years of hell. Oh, time to get my money. Yeah, woo! Right? Like, come on now. Every single one of you has violated the rights of, and shame on you, every single one of you. There's, as far as I can tell, there's not been a single whistleblower aside from me trying to freaking make everyone aware of this. So, what's going on with that, huh? Shame on you, Idahoans. Like I stated to that guy who's been arguing with me all day, when a grown man will stand there and voluntarily allow another person, man, woman, child, to violate the rights of another man, woman, child, that is disgusting behavior. When somebody would allow a corporation to do that, right? Like, what man would allow anyone else to violate somebody in their presence? Huh? You answer me that. Bunch of beta males is what you are. Like, not a single one of you has the freaking stones to stand up for what is right, and that's what's disgusting. When all this was happening, There are 70, 80-year-old guys freaking walking with their camera phone like, oh my God, look at this hippie over here. That's an angry hippie. Woo, man, go back to your state, hippie. Woo! Right? There are people walking up to their friend, the police officer, touching him on the shoulder, right? Not getting reprimanded in any way, shape, or form. But when I go and I walk towards the guy, I am immediately met with force and a verbal threat where he verbalizes, do not walk up on me, right? Or else, right? How is that fair? Huh? I'm the one that called you for help. You're treating me as a hostile citizen. You're treating me as the criminal, right? You threaten me with arrest. How is that in any way, shape, or form cool? Ah, I'm sorry. I have plenty more videos that I could make on this subject. Thank you all for watching. My name is Daddy. My channel is Learning How to Law, and if you've made it this far, you are an amazing person. God bless you. And whatever God you love, whatever God loves you, I do not want you to go and think that I'm trying to push any certain God on you, right? Like, just keep that in mind, right? Like, some of you might think, oh, hey, he believes in a Christian God. Okay, maybe, possibly. There's some of you who are like, oh, maybe he believes in a Norse God, or maybe a Egyptian God, or, right? Like, there's some of you who are going to be like, there's only one God, woo! Well, I've got plenty to say about that, but those are usually the people who talk about Christ as king, and right, like the same religions that I grew up with, right, and grew up learning about, right? Like I said, I know that mainstream religion is not for everybody, so please do not get offended when I go and I say God. When I say God, I quite literally mean whatever God you love, whatever God loves you, okay? If you, and this is going to offend some people, but that's okay, because this is a public forum and you need critical thinking, okay? If you guys have made it this far, thank you for watching. I do appreciate you. Just know that if it's happening to me, it is happening to you and those that you love, and you need to be aware of it. Because again, as I have shown you, just in the state of Idaho, there are hundreds of thousands of calls made every single year, and every single one of those calls is having their federal rights denied to them right immediately, right off the bat. Okay? So, automatic violation of the oath that you all swore. So, or should have swore, but in reality, Idaho didn't have you swear to the state of the Constitution of the United States. So, thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next video.